As I pointed out earlier, sponsorship is the kingdom's form of control for immigration and has been their solution for maintaining and preserving their lifestyle and culture. Another form of control is the requirement of all foreign nationals to obtain an entry visa before entering the kingdom and an exit visa before they're allowed to leave the kingdom. Tourism is very regulated and only allowed for approved tour groups. Your sponsor is a valuable and a must for this process. They will help you prepare your documents, apply for your visas, and supply a letter of introduction for the embassy along with your application. This process can take several months to be completed and approved and must be obtained before you plan your arrival to the kingdom. Planning for the processing time will help alleviate any frustrations. All correspondence with the Saudi government or legal binding documents must be in Arabic, as you can see by this visa application. Visa applications and requirements state that your passport be valid for at least 6 months prior to applying and have at least 2 adjacent pages available in your passport and be filled out completely. If not, this could delay your processing, adding more time to the process. Note, your passport will not be available during this process because you will need to submit it along with your application. This might pose a problem if you travel a lot for your company outside of the country. Keep in mind, women traveling alone must meet with their sponsor upon arrival into the kingdom and can be delayed until their sponsor arrives to get them. Visitors should not overstay their visit. They would face a fine, if they did, of 10,000 Saudi Riyal or $2,667 in American money. If you are involved in a legal matter or dispute, you will not be permitted to leave the country until this has been resolved. A comprehensive list of requirements can be obtained on the Saudi Embassy's website, as well as other information needed for your stay while in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
When doing business in Saudi Arabia, it will be useful to know some of the language customs. When you're in meetings with Saudi Arabian businessmen, you should know that they like to use eloquent word choices, and they also like to shout when they get excited about things. Another thing they tend to do is they tend to pound the table when they enunciate their remarks. Also, when you're talking with the businessmen, avoid using offensive language and cursing at them. It's very offensive. During the meetings that lead up to your final meeting, they mostly comprise of small talk and conversations that they use to get to know you. When you're doing these initial conversations, stay away from topics such as war, disasters, illness, and also when you're asking about the family, you want to, instead of asking about their wives and daughters, you want to ask about their family in general. Some things that they like to talk about during these conversations are sports, religion, and politics. When you first meet your Saudi Arabian associate, you should call him by his first name, but if you also would like to, you can add the title beforehand. Be sure that you call your associate by the correct name, however. If you have to, you can ask him, "What would you like me to call you?" Remember that being too informal or messing up their last names with the first names can be very offensive to them. Also, when you're doing business in Saudi Arabia, make sure you bring plenty of business cards with you. Make sure the business cards have English printed on one side and Arabic printed on the other side. This is because Saudi Arabians have an easier time with your name and position if they can see it written down. Although when you do business with Saudi Arabian businessmen, you refer to them by their first name, it's also important to know their full name. Arabian full names are a little bit different than full names in English. Their names comprise of, first their title, then their given name, next is their middle name, which is determined by the name of their father or mother, depending if you're male or female. If you're male, your middle name is bin and then the name of your father. If you're female, then your middle name is bint and then the name of your mother. Last comes the family name. One way to impress the Saudi Arabian businessmen is if you know some of their language. Some simple phrases that you can use over there are hi. You pronounce that by saying salam. Goodbye, you pronounce that by saying ma'a salama. Another handy one to have is yes. You pronounce that by saying na'am. And then no, you pronounce that by saying lar. Another important one is to know how to say your name. So you say, my name is Adam. You'd say, Esmi Adam. And a really important one is to know how to say thank you. To say thank you, you say shukran. The use of time and space in Saudi Arabia is very important. Punctuality is appreciated, but not crucial. However, the best advice is to be on time. Meetings are continually interrupted by phone calls and visits by the Saudi person's friends and families. These interruptions should be treated with grace. Saudi officials, by tradition, are prohibited from working more than 6 hours a day, and mornings are usually best for meetings. However, if there is a meeting in the evening, it is not unusual for it to run past midnight. Because Friday is the holy day in the Muslim religion, all businesses are closed Thursday and Friday. The usual work week runs Saturday through Wednesday, and the work hours are usually 7:30 to 2:30. However, these hours differ from city to city. Scheduled events such as meetings are very slow-moving. Much time is used to getting to understand and getting to know each other before business is done. If you are invited to dinner, much conversation will be done before the meal is actually served. When engaged in conversation, Saudis tend to stand much closer to each other than Americans do. Arabs will employ some body contact to emphasize a point or to confirm that they have your attention. It is important not to draw back from this, however. If you draw back, it can be taken as a rejection as to what's being said. Businesses are closed 5 times a day in order to pray, and meetings should be avoided during the month of Ramadan because Muslims fast from dawn to dusk. The Islamic calendar is used in Saudi Arabia. The Islamic calendar consists of 28-day months. This means that holidays will fall on different days each year. All businesses are closed for the 2 most important holidays of the Muslim religion. One is Eid al-Fitr and another one is Eid al-Adha. Both are 3-day celebrations.